move into Midsummer now. Day 3. It's a very early start and we have glorious sunshine ahead. Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to American Midwest. So, it looks as though we fertilised our crops just in time because they've grown overnight to the last stage before we can weed them. Yeah, before we lose the opportunity to weed them. If we look here, you can see that it says that fields 25, 26, 1 and 10 are harvestable. They're not. That's just the first stage of harvestability is still the growing stage when seasons is applied. That's why they're in yellow, but they're not ready yet. But they are getting much, much closer. If we hop over the tracks and just scan... Oh no, that's a soybean field as well, isn't it? I need to be on there. Alright, well, we'll do it in a minute. But if we scan one of the fields, they'll probably be at something like 83% or something like that. They're not ready yet. Not by a long shot. So, what is the plan of action for today? Well, mowing is kind of the main big thing. And on top of that, I'm going to do a little bit of animal care as well. You can see that we're starting to burn through our water supplies for all of our animals and some of our food supplies for our others as well. What I'm going to do with the pigs is instead of actually giving them some corn from storage, which we have, and some beets and potatoes from storage, which again we have, I'm going to give them some pig food. It's going to cost us a little bit of cash, but we can afford it, just simply because we have no more wheat or barley, and we have no more canola, sunflowers or soybeans that we can feed them either. So they're now losing 2 bars, and the combined loss is 45% of their food. Now that's going to mean that their health is going to start dropping if we don't act on that. So we're going to have to spend quite a bit of money on pig food, quite a bit of money indeed. But everything else we can top up. We can sort out the hay for our sheep. We've got plenty of that. We've got plenty of water available to us. You know, we could go and get free water, but we use the water tower. Actually, no, we've got free water here at the farm, haven't we? So we'll come back and we'll collect some free water. We've also got loads of straw. We've got a little bit of grass left, and we're about to do some mowing, so we can sort that out today. And we've got plenty of power food, which will also take care of the silage and hay for our cows as well. So, yeah, food supplies, not a problem at all. But first things first, I want to go get a lot of pig food, and I mean a lot. So I'm going to need, let's see, I'm also going to get rid of that trailer there, and I'm going to replace it with one of the mod versions. I'm going to take the Optum, I think. Now we do have, you know, as we've had some problems with this trailer in the past, it's been a bit hokey. We do have the other Cramper Bull trailers installed, which we've been wanting to use for ages, just haven't got around to it. Well, as you can see, we actually have, you know, a nice little bit of cash on hand, thanks to our milk sales overnight. Plus, we're going to sell this trailer, and we'll get a nice bit of cash for this because we haven't used it that much. I kind of went the long way around there, but never mind. Let's drive that to the sell box, which is just there. Let's move this out the way, and let's sell this. So we get 40 grand back for that. So the trailers that we can get are, scroll across, scroll across, scroll across. Keep going. No, gone too far. Here. These ones here, the big body 790s. Now, I've been wanting to use these for ages, just haven't got around to it. They've got a decent sized capacity, nothing over the top. And I'd like to get one of these for our farm over here. We'll go with the standard red colour. Rim colour we'll leave as standard. Ooh, we have a choice of wheels. Trelleborgs, Michelin, or standard. Let's go with Michelin's. And the design colour is obviously the bull logo on the side. We'll leave that in white. How much is that going to cost us? 42 grand. Well, that's fractionally more than we've just paid, or we've just made for selling the trailer. So I'm fine with that. We'll go collect that, and actually, we can collect that using our skid steer. skid steer, sorry, our telehandler. We don't actually need to use our Optum for that, because we're going to need to be able to lift those pallets. Oh, actually, no, we don't. We could just pull alongside the pallets and top up that way. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll drive along alongside the pallets and then top them up sort of that way by sort of just pulling alongside the pallets with the trailer. Slow down to match the speed limit. With the mowing, we've got three fields to mow today for grass. We've got the field to the left of field 4, the field above field 4, and then the sort of patch below our orchard. Those are the three areas we're going to mow. We're going to do each one on its own in turn. So we'll mow it, collect it, take it to the silos and store it, and then we'll move on to the next field. Obviously, we don't want that grass to rot away while we go off and just mow all three at once. That would be kind of foolish, and we would end up losing a fair bit of grass from our total potential haul. And then we've got the big L-shaped grass field down by the BGA. Now, I am hoping to maybe get a start on our silage today, but I want to see how much we actually make first of all from our other grass collection from the other three fields before we attack that field, because we may possibly need to actually mow that for grass for the farm as well. Let's get some pallets. So I'm going to need quite a few. And we're going to not necessarily fill this trailer, but we're going to put a lot of stuff in this trailer. And then we're going to leave the rest in the trailer and top it up as and when we need to. We'll top up the food troughs as and when we need to. So let's gather up all of this into our trailer. Actually, I can try and be clever about this. Set cruise control to 1. That one's too slow. How's about that? It's like almost like a conveyor system. Beautiful. Right, so let's do the same again. Let's get another load of pallets, and this time we should get an extra 1 or 2 because we've cleared the trailer out the way. We're probably going to need to fill this trailer because they're just not going to last otherwise. Oop. I knocked the barrel out the way. That was a little careless of me. Just don't have the turning circle. There we go. So, same again. We're just going to drive and collect as we go. This is nice and straightforward and simple, this. They're going at a really fast rate, so it's literally just little click, let it run, little click, let it run, so on and so forth. How much is that? That's 19,000 litres. Yeah, we're going to need to fill this up. So I'm going to carry on doing this. I'm going to fill up the trailer, and then we'll take this over. We'll start topping up the pig food. We'll leave the other the trailer back at the farm once we get there, and then from there we'll go on and we'll do our mowing. So I will see you at the animal farm with some food for our pigs in just a little while. Right, so I have 30,000 litres of pig food, and it's probably not going to last that long at all. I doubt I'll even actually top up the food troughs, but 30 grand is a lot of money. Well, I'd say 30 grand. It's 30,000 litres. It actually costs $1,400 per 1,000 litres, so it's actually a lot more than 30 grand in the back of this trailer. It's not cheap when you've got a lot of pigs to feed, you know, paying for pig food. Oh, I like the tip action on this. That's nice. Yeah, look, the greedy pigs are gonna quite literally greedy pigs. They're eating the whole lot. How much of a dent did we put in? Uh, Not enough, really. Well, at least we've got in a couple of days worth by the look of it, maybe 2 days worth of. It'll hopefully tide us over to the beginning of when we can actually start harvesting. We should be able to start harvesting at the end of summer, so we might get away with that. Um, yeah, I like this so much. I might actually get rid of that trailer and replace it with one of these as well. Let's do some TMR now. We're fine for straw on the pigs because we filled the straw trough up before. Excuse me, my voice. We filled the pig's straw trough up before we sold a load of pigs, so we ended up with a huge excess of straw. Plus, again, it's the middle of summer, so they don't use straw up that quickly. You know, they spend a lot more time outside and a lot less time in the sort of straw area, so they produce a lot less manure during the summer months. It's the same for our cows as well. Our cows are using up their straw at a slower rate than they would do any other time of the year. It's a cracking new trailer, isn't it? I do like that. Tip's really high as well. A lot higher than I thought it would. So we're going to need another couple of these trailers sort of full of TMR just to make sure that we have enough in our food trough. While we top this trailer up a second time, let's just take a quick look at the chart. Actually, no, this will be enough. This will be enough. Got a little bit of grass left in here, I think. But it is like a couple of thousand litres at most. 2,500 litres, I think it is. So we'll put a little bit of grass in, whatever we've got left. And then we'll have to, as I say, go and do some mowing to get the rest of it. And of course, we do need to do our water as well. Now, I was going to go and get free water, and I remembered as I saw the water tower there in the corner that we made the decision to pay for our water to help offset the vast income we're getting from our orchard. So we'll use this tower here instead. It'll save us a long trip as well. You can see the sort of dust rising up from our food going into the trough there. That's kind of cool. And there we go. That's the trough full. So we'll go and tip the rest of this back into the silo. We'll have to obviously top these up again in another 3 days. Let's unload there. There we go. I'm amazed just how little of a dent our 30,000 litres of pig food actually made. You know, they are, as I say, very expensive to feed with pig food. It's much more cost effective to do it with crops. Much more, without any kind of shadow of a doubt. There we go, the last 2,500 litres of grass. This is going to disappear incredibly quickly. Just going to fill it into this trough here rather than driving all the way around to the front just for 2,500 litres. Doesn't seem really worth it. There we go. Didn't even finish lifting the back of the trailer's door up properly. It was tipped that quickly. I really do like this trailer. It is a really nice little trailer. So yeah, I think what we'll do is we might actually swap them over. I might leave this one up here, and I might take the other one back down to the farm for when we're unloading the combine. That might be a little bit more useful for that, actually. Keep this one up here. I don't know. I'll think about it. Let's grab our water trailer and top up our water levels. This thing's almost completely bone dry. It is a shame that we can't tap a free water supply here, given we've got a huge, expanse of water right the other side of the fence. It's a shame we can't just like attach a pipe over the fence into the water there and actually use that into our water tower. But never mind. Like I say, I don't mind paying for this water because we are getting so much money from our orchard every day. It does seem fair to just kind of offset that just a little bit. I've just realised we're running at ×1, aren't we? Let's put that on ×5, and actually let's just catch up a little bit. We'll run that to sort of 640, 650, somewhere like that. However long it takes us basically to get to the nearest water trough, and then we'll slow it back down again. Just to kind of catch up for all that time we've been driving around at ×1 instead of ×5. It's not like we're going to, struggle with the daylight. Oh, we've got great demand for potatoes. We don't have any potatoes, so that's a little irrelevant. That's a little too far now. There we go. Yeah, daylight is not a concern. We're at the longest point of the year in terms of day length right now. So we're going to have sunlight all the way through until probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I would imagine. It'll give us the option to skip sometime around 8-ish, somewhere around there. But we don't need to. We can work as late as we want. I think it'll be still workable sort of light conditions until around about 9:30, 10 o'clock today. Such is the variance in the lighting throughout the year. Do the water for our pigs. There we go. Let's do the sheep as well. Oh, we need to top their hay level up, don't we? I forgot about that. There was one last little bit that we needed to do. So that was it. That was just tiny little amount there. So that's essentially our animals done. All taken care of. We might not even need to top up the hay today, actually, because they've only been in there, what, a day? This is the start of their second day, I think, so it might be okay to just leave their food trough alone for a little while, and I can maybe top it up later at the end once we start bringing all the grass over. Let's take a look. Once we get this put back in here. Right, so, in animals, they are a little bit low. Alright, yeah, we'll top them up as well then. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to estimate a small amount of hay in this. I'm going to take this one with me back to the other farm. And if it's not quite enough, it's not quite enough. If it's too much, that's potentially a bit of a problem. But I think what I'll do is I'll probably tip it at the incinerator or something if it's a little bit too much. How much have they got in there? 958. Oh wow, that's nothing, is it? Let's find hay. That's probably too much. That tiny little splodge there, 639 litres, may be too much. If it is, actually, I'll just empty it near the Lely Juno, and that should hopefully then pick it up and stick it in the food trough as the supplies dwindle again. Oh no, there we go. And that wasn't a bad guess, was it? We almost filled the trough. So yeah, we'll take this down to the farm. I'll leave it down there for now, and I may possibly sell this and replace it with another one of those kippers that we have over there. But instead of this particular kipper here, I just think this 750 Bandit is a bit bland. That tiny little angled Bandit 750 on the side does look a little bit naff when you compare it to the other trailer. But yeah, we'll get this back to the farm and then we'll jump into the Big M and we'll start our mowing. So we're going to start off over here by the orchard. There is our Puma with our loading wagon just there. Make our way in. I do need to actually quickly check. I'll do it when the mowers are unfolded. I need to check the covers are up, aren't they? Yes, they are. So we want to windrow this. So let's. Oops. Ha! It beeped as well. I didn't realise it beeped. Yeah. Let's run around this field here. This shouldn't take very long at all. Oops. Now it's not a perfect windrowing system, this, but it's not bad. And we get a nice little amount of grass from here. You can see it's not really a single windrow, it's more two windrows that kind of blend into each other a little bit. And sometimes they blend really nicely, and other times they do actually separate out into two distinct windrows from time to time. You can see there it's not really a single windrow, and you can see the gap now between the two of them. It's a little unfortunate that the spacing isn't quite right, but yeah, you just have to be a little bit more careful when you're scooping it up. We'll make our tour around the field like so. So we can just tag some of those bits that we missed a little bit last time. It's a little rough. I'm going to try and straight line this bit here as well. I couldn't quite match up with the other windrow. Never mind. Really doesn't take long to get through your mowing with one of these things. It's just so quick and efficient. It's almost a shame that we just don't have huge, great big grass expanses so I can just mow to my heart's content with this thing. And then this pass here, and then we've got that final little bit just in there, and then the mowing on this field is done already. I knew it wouldn't take very long. So you've got a 13-14 meter working width, you know, it's over very, very quickly, too quickly sometimes, unfortunately. But I don't suppose we can really grumble about it taking too, you know, and it being so quick. You know, I'd rather have this than not have it. And there we go. So that's pretty much good enough. Let's get the mowers folded up. Let's move this out of the way. Park just there. Let's jump into our Puma. Let's lower the wagon. There we go. And off we go collecting. So we're probably going to have to sort of drive over certain areas again to tidy up some of these bits where it gets a bit wide, and also where the swaths kind of merge with each other. That's, you know, so be it. You know, there's not a lot we can do about that, but we'll just have to be as careful as we can with it to try and minimise the number of trips around the field. Oops, took that corner a little bit too sharply. So the longer this sits out in the sun, the faster it kind of rots. Well, I say not necessarily the faster it rots, but the longer it sits out, the more of it rots. Is the right way to say that. And we do need quite a lot of grass now. We're at the point where our herd of dairy cattle is eating through quite a lot of grass. Every 3 days. So all those grass supplies that we had, and we had over 100,000, I think, or about 80-something thousand, 86,000 when we started in spring, all gone, all of it. Did not last very long at all. It was enough to get us to summer, which I knew it would be. I did think it might last a little bit longer than that, and that is certainly not the case. There we go. That is a full load, and that was almost the entire field. Just little bits left. You see, we just missed a thin strip there, and obviously we've got the rest of that row, and that's all that's left on this field. The rest of it's all in the back of this trailer. So we didn't get much, did we? But I mean, it's a small little bit of ground, so I never expected to get a huge, vast amount of grass off that field there. But you can see now why I was considering, instead of chaffing the grass field by the BGA, actually harvesting that for grass as well. This, rather than going into the silo, this is going straight into the food trough for our cows, and they're going to have most of it. I don't think they'll probably take all of, well, actually they might take all of it. We should have a little bit left over, but it won't be much. See how much of this they do eat. Not so much. Okay, that's not too bad. So we've got almost another 3 days worth in this trough here. Looks like our yeah, we've got an overfill on our pig food trough because we've dumped in all that pig food, and then the excess sugar beets I think is what's spilling out as additional corn. But we'll store the rest of this in the silo. We'll go back and get the next little bit. We'll bring that to the silo as well, because it'll rot even in the back of this. Oh, that's the wrong side. Wrong side of the trailer. Wrong side of the silo. There we go. That's better. Yeah, even if we leave the grass from the other field in the back of this, it'll still continue to degrade and rot. So we'll go scoop that. It's not much, but we'll go scoop it, we'll bring that up here and tip that, and then we'll move on to the next field after that. So this is the last little bit from that first field there by the orchard, another 6,500 litres. We'll plump that in there. There we go. So next up is the field next to our sheep. And I've been thinking as well of actually maybe adding something else. Let's see. It's by Amazona. Been thinking about getting one of these little Profi hoppers, just to mow inside our animal paddocks, and then use that grass to then go into the food troughs. 3,500 litre capacity. But it's ideal for those small enclosed pens. I think I might buy one of those. They're really cheap as well. We can afford it. So, yeah, let's buy one of those. And we'll get that brought over to the farm once we've done our mowing of the main sort of fields. And then we'll get the little Profi hoppers going inside. And there's grass in there that we can take advantage of. So we might as well Plus it helps simulate the visual appearance of the animals eating that grass. So I need to park this up opposite because there's no space otherwise, so we'll park that just here. Let's just turn around. There we go. Let's go get our big M and attack that field there. Hasn't exactly been my most efficient mowing session. Trying to get some nice scenic shots there from different angles, and of course I ended up going a little bit wonky in places or off at an angle and had to go back and sort of zigzag across some of my existing windrows just to get the bits that I'd missed. You can see there where I had a little bit of a wobbly bit. But there we go, that's another field done. So again, we'll get folded up. There are tiny little tufts. I'm not too worried about those individual little tufts like that. Just flatten them out, the tyres maybe. But the rest of it is all pretty much done. So again, we'll park up here. The field just over there, you can just see it there, that's our next target. But we need to scoop up all of this grass before we can do that. So off we go with the loading wagon once again. What is it with great demands for wood chips? Keep getting great demands for wood chips. It's the wrong time of year and it's the wrong farm, but it's another great demand for wood chips. Obviously we've just had a massive one on Seasons in the Valley that turned out to be very, very profitable indeed, but yeah, another wood chip great demand. We don't have anything that we can actually use to take advantage of that right now. We don't have any trees cut, we don't have any wood chips made. We're probably not going to do any logging at all on this farm. I don't know what I'm going to do over summer. Can't even do snow work really because it's Midwest, so I don't think we're even going to get snow. We might get the tiniest little shower of snow, but we're certainly not expecting to see any settle on the ground. So yeah, I guess we'll have to kind of play winter by ear once we get there. But anyway, carrying on with the grass work. Heading back for what I think is going to be the final load. We've actually gained a lot of grass off this field, a lot. My initial worry is that we wouldn't have enough and that we would need to tap into our sort of BGA field. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. I really don't. We've got, well, I'm not sure how many trips I've made, but I think it's at least 4 that I've made, maybe even more than that, maybe 5. And you know, if it's, let's say it's 5, you know, each one of these trailers is 42,000 litres, so we've got over 200,000 litres that we've collected just off this field alone. You know, that'll get us through most of the year at sort of current consumption rates. So yeah, maybe not so worried anymore. And don't forget, we are going to get a second cut as well, so in those situations we may actually get even more sort of grass available to be BGA'd, you know, to be chaffed in a bunker. Although, oh, damn it, I forgot to lower that back down again. I wonder why I was skipping bits. I was just looking back and seeing little patches that hadn't been picked up. I forgot to lower the trailer back down again. Go back and collect those. And there we go, that is it. That is the last of the grass on this field. Job is done. So, let's see. Once we get back there, we'll see just how much we've actually got. Where's our collector? And there's going to be tiny little patches here and there, you know, of grass left, but I'm not too worried about those tiny little pieces. It's more hassle than it's worth to go and try and hunt them out. And you can see that in the time that we've been doing this, we've almost made back the money we spent on our small, you know, ride-along mower. Almost back up to 15,000. That's the power of our orchard in full force there, spitting out money for us. Right, so how much grass do we actually have now? It's got to be a fair amount. Grass. 213,149 litres. And we still have one more grass field to go. So yeah, let's go do that field as well. And then we'll bring over the little ride along and bring that up to the farm. Ready to start sort of getting into our little meadows and stuff. Our little paddocks up here. We might not even use it that much. I might end up taking it over to the orchard and just use it to tidy up inside the orchard and not do anything with the grass other than just mulch it. But I mean, it's only £5 for that little thing, and they are fun to use, so it gives me something to do as well, sort of in between episodes, to just ride around on that thing and have a little bit of fun messing around in fields with that. Yeah, here is the next location. So yeah, we'll park just here. We can actually get in on the other side as well, which I think is going to be easier with the big M, so we'll do that. I'm going to go jump in that and we'll start mowing the next field. This is another field that isn't going to take very long either. It's a long field, but it's quite a narrow field. It's going to be literally just up and down 3 or 4 times. About 4 times, I think, and then that'll be it. Just got to be careful I don't clip the trees in places. Apart from that, very, very straightforward. And I'm not so worried about, you know, just those little bits in those verges if we don't quite go wide enough. Now that I've seen, there we go, just clipped a tree. Now that I've seen how much we've collected and the fact that we still haven't even done this field yet, I'm not so worried about making sure that we get every last scrap of grass off this field. As long as we get the vast majority of it, we'll be absolutely fine, I think. Just gotta be careful I don't keep hitting those rocks. In real life that would be thousands of pounds of damage, or thousands of dollars. We're in the States, aren't we? Right, let's get the rest of this field done. On the home stretch on this field, as it were. I think we might have left a little bit on the corner, though. We've left quite a bit on the corner there. We'll have to go back and tag that. Do that now before we get too far away from it. There we go. So just this last piece here, and then we are done on this field as well. Excellent stuff. Just want to try something. I've never tried this before. I want to see if I can actually scan the grass in the container here. Probably won't let me, but you never know. No, I didn't think it would. It was worth a try, I think. See if I can get in here and scan it this way. Yeah, no. Didn't think it would work, but it was worth a try just to see if anything would happen. Right, so from here, I'm going to go get the little ride-along from Amazona that we've got waiting at the store. I'm going to bring that up here to the animal farm so I can have a little mess around in the animal paddocks, and then we'll take the Big M over to our L-shaped field by the BGA and we'll start mowing, ready for silage. Yeah, it's taken me a little while to get up here. This thing is not fast. 9 miles an hour, that is it. But these are so much fun to mess about with. And if you do it in first person view, if you get the camera at the right angle, it looks like you're just floating, albeit very noisily floating. It's almost like having cruise control for your walking. Right, so let's do a little bit of mowing inside here. See how much of this grass we can actually grab. We'll hold around about 3,300, I think it is, 3,250, something around those lines. It's not a huge capacity, but it doesn't need to be. But I figure, you know, we have this grass in here, why not, you know, utilise that. This could be a great way for us to get additional feed for our animals as well. Whizzing around the edge here. I thought it might fill up a little bit quicker than this, but it is what it is. avoid the sheep. I don't think I did. I think I just took its legs out. Never mind. I do enjoy messing around with these things. They're very, very good for snow blowing as well. I say snow blowing, snow eating of snow, I suppose. Would be the right term. They just kind of eat it and mulch it, and it all disappears. You get the idea. And then we can basically, it's all being stored in the container at the back. I'm going to actually empty this partially into the food trough when we make it round there again. But what we can do is we can just come in here and we can do this to just grab a little bit of extra grass whenever we need to. I'm not going to mow all of this right now, because that would just take forever. But there we go. That's enough for now. So let's just back up to here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Had to kind of put my wheels into the trough to get the trigger. Well, there we go. We can feed our animals this way as an additional way of feeding them. And then what we can also do, got quite skinny wheels as well, so you see we're not damaging the grass, which is good. Is then we can just take whatever's left, and we can either put it into a chaff pit for silage, or we can put it into our into our silo for grass storage. This bit here, I'm actually just going to dump into the chaff pit. It's only a couple of thousand litres. There's no point sticking it in the silo, and it's a long, slow process as well, because 9 miles an hour isn't that fast. But these are a lot of fun to just kind of drive around in. So I think what I'll probably end up doing is moving this over to the orchard, and then I can just use it to just tidy up in the orchard a little bit between the trees. But there we go. We have a little bit of chaff. And of course, look, always, I don't know why, we always get that tiny little bit of grass left over that it just does not want to put into the silo or into the bunker. I don't know why. So we'll try and dump that in the silo just here, just to get it out of our machinery. If not, we can always just dump it on the ground and let it, rot away. There we go. Right, so that's the fun with the mower over. Let's like Big M meets Little M, or Mini M, I suppose. Let's take this down to the L-shaped field by the BGA. Got a bit of a trek to go, and then we'll get all that grass in there mowed and collected and stuck into a bunker. We'll start making some silage. You can see we've got the Puma parked up ready and waiting. Here is our field. We should get quite a nice amount of grass off this field here. I have to kind of just flatten part of it, unfortunately, just to get in here, because it is quite a tight entrance. But I've been looking forward to this field all year. With the Big M, this field could be a lot of fun to mow. So it's quite a big field. We should get quite a lot of grass, and I can get quite a bit of mowing done on here. Looking good. Oops, just clipped the tree. Gotta stop doing that. Just trying to make sure I get as much off this field as possible, because this will be the base for our silage. We'll be adding to it with corn chaff a little bit later in the year, once that corn is kind of at the right level, and well, we need the forage harvester for that as well. So we need to buy the Big X 500 or 580, sorry. And we don't quite have enough for that yet. We need around 290, 200, 300,000, just over around that, I think, somewhere. And we currently have around 200,000 available. So we're about 100 grand short. We're not going to be able to afford that until, I think, the end of summer, unless we're able to sell something between now and then. We just have to wait for our orchard and our cows to produce more milk. Oh, by the way, I did actually check and had a look to see what my milk sale was, and it was 30,000 overnight. So those extra numbers kind of counting a little bit, and we were up from 25 the night before. So our milk sales are improving a little bit, and hopefully we'll start to see a slightly better return, but I think we are going to see some dips again as we move into autumn. I think Seasons helps make this Big M feel really, really special, because it's so much fun to use, and you don't get to use it very much when you're playing on Seasons. The mowing does not take long at all. I mean, this is a good sized grass field. This is the biggest grass field we have, and it's only taken me a few minutes to do this. And after this, that's it for our mowing for, you know, quite some time, until the end of sort of the end of autumn, when we'll be able to do a little bit more mowing. Seasons really does help make the Big M feel special, because you only get to use it once or twice a year, and you know, not for very long either, whereas in regular gameplay you can use it every couple of days really, and it kind of loses that magic feeling of using it when you can use it whenever you want. So I do really kind of appreciate the fact that Seasons does just add that little bit of extra oomph to using the Big M. It's just a shame now it's going to sit here for the next sort of month, not month, sorry, the next sort of season. It's not going to be there now till, as I say, mid to late autumn is when we'll be able to start mowing again. It's such a shame in a way that we're going to have to wait that long. But I've had fun with the Big M, and as I say, that's it for summer for the Big M now. So let's get this grass collected. We'll start sticking it in one of those silos. Just try not to destroy the suspension there on those rocks. And yeah, start prepping up our first silage bunker. This is the final load of grass off the field, so we'll get this dumped in, and then that's pretty much it. There we go. No more grass fields to mow now until they grow back, as I say, towards the end of autumn. But we will be chaffing some corn to add into this pit as well. And then we'll get a second round of mowing on top of that. So once that's done, we can then ferment this. And I think what we might try and do is perhaps save this for winter, so that we can then shovel this during winter and give us something to do. Let's see, how much have we got in here so far? Let's open up the help window. 206,968 litres. That's not bad. 207,000 litres, effectively, you know, give or take. So that's not a bad little start. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more to go in there. We'll get another 200,000 litres plus off that field again later in the year. We'll get all of our corn from field 12, which is there, just there, look. We'll get that in here as well. That's going to really add a lot to the bunker. And then maybe we'll add from the other grass fields as well. How much grass do we now have in storage? Through 320,626 litres. Yeah, I think I might add one of those fields back in as additional grass, and then the rest will come down here to the BGA as well. So yeah, that's not a bad little start. Not a bad little start indeed. And we will certainly be able to make that silage pile a lot bigger. So that's it for the end of this episode. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more American Midwest very soon.